Chefs is proudly presented by Aleda Digital Trading Cards, the top digital trading card in college athletics.
Shop now at ugochiiwaba.com.
Welcome to Chefs. I'm your host, Scott, and I'm here today with one of my favorite friends in the whole world. It's Michelle Paulin. Thanks for being here today, and she's our guest chef. First off, Michelle is an amazing chef, so I'm really lucky to have you here today. And just a little background for me, so we can figure out, where you come from. And you have a kennel. You've been in all over the world or in showing dogs. So what have you done?
Je suis naturellement de l'Ontario, Canada, puis j'ai déménagé ici en 1998, where I worked, 1998, where I worked for a dog food company. I have a master's in animal medicine and sciences, which is why I'm so involved in animals. And I worked for a dog food company called Rollover. And then when I came down here, I worked for another company called Natural Balance. And then went into dog show handling professionally in 2001, although I have been handling since 1984. And started out with Shih Tzus and now have top Abethan hounds in the country. Wow. We've won the world show 3 times in 3 different countries. One of my puppies won Crufts this year. It's just been a lot of fun. So I love the sight hounds, hence why our connection through the Borzois. And so kind of a little bit of that. My other favorite thing is cooking. And because of my work, it's cooking things that you can do easily. And of course, I want to bring you a couple of my favorite French-Canadian items, which Tourtière is a meat pie that is served at every holiday, especially Christmas. And then we also make so many of them that they're easily frozen and taken back out to reheat. So it's a good family meal in that way. And also, can't go to Canada without Poutine. So we're going to make you an American style Poutine.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited. Now, before you don't know about it, if you haven't seen Best in Show, go rent it. So it'll show you what it's.
I am not Busy Bee. I don't care about Weimaraners, and I really don't care about dog toys or baiting too much. But it is a very funny mockumentary, actually headed by Canadians also.
There you go.
So.
All right, let's get started. So, what are we doing first?
We're going to start with the meat pie, which is called tourtière. The closest thing to the verbiage for it would be a meat pie. But it's not like the British ones. It's more cottage type.
Canadian meat pie.
And even in Canada, there's a lot of fighting back and forth on what you add to it. I add peas and carrots because you need a vegetable. I add, instead of adding real mashed potatoes to make it easier, I use the dehydrated potatoes. I use gravy mix, a little bit of it, and onions. And the best thing about it is you're using a ground pork and a ground beef, preferably 50-50, so that you get a really good texture and good flavor to it. And then we use items, and they'll all be listed down on the bottom: salt, pepper, cloves, allspice, nutmeg, ginger, a little bit of cinnamon. I use a little bit of chives to add to the extra flavor of just a plain white onion works. And then this is actually for the poutine, so we'll keep that for after. And then you have your peas and carrots. I use frozen because they'll heat up as the meat is cooking. And then we have our pan already warm, and we've added a little bit of water to it. The water does, one, is it stops the meat from sticking. 2, it will be used to rehydrate the potatoes we're putting in. And so we bring this over to the stove. So when starting, we put in the onions first because they tend to take the longest to cook. Onion is as per flavor. You put as many as you want. This is for a single tourtière. If I was doing two, it would be two of them. Then we add the meat. It's important to make sure that you end up breaking it up. You can use one of those star splitters, or you can use just the spatula. It all works. So then we're going to put in our other ingredients. So let me get under here. So this is the mixture of all the spices we'll have listed. Looks like a lot, but it really isn't. Add a little bit of the oregano and the cilantro. Mix those up a little bit more. You don't want to burn the meat. The smell is insane right now. You guys, we need smell-o-vision. Yeah. There's something about cloves and allspice when you're cooking meat that most people don't even think of putting it in their food. But this is delicious, and it cooks real quick. The nice thing about the pork is you're providing enough fat. So for those of you that require good healthy fat, this is good healthy fat. Because you're not adding butter, you're not adding anything that you don't need to add. You're just getting the pure nutrition from the meat. So then as we do this, we can add the potatoes to it. And what that does is it acts as a binder and to bind the meat together. And it helps the pie to kind of stick together to itself. And then we need the peas and carrots. And that'll add a little extra on the liquids. Then we're going to play it by ear. And then I add half of this gravy mix because the other half is for gravy to be put on. So now this is done.
Perfect.
So we're going to take this off the
Let's go ahead and set it aside over here.
Yeah, and then we're going to get the pie crust ready.
Perfect. All right, let's get over on the pie crust. So we've got that meat done. That looks great. So now we're gonna work on the pie dough. This
is what makes it really, really easy is I don't have time. I have too much to do in a day, so I don't have time. So I buy the store-bought crust. You can use either the Pillsbury. I use the no-name brand from Stater Brothers, but anything that's found in the cookie dough department is generally a really good pie dough. Let it get to room temperature, and then you set it up. I use, let's do some promotion here. Pam needs to be sponsoring this baby. So I use the Pam baking spray, and you take it, and you just basically put it around your pan, and that's it.
Our athlete of the week is Nemo Beach, USD volleyball player. Please take the time to buy her trading card and help her in her college efforts.
So once again, being that it's hard to have any time to yourself, let alone, this is a quick, easy meal that you can make 3 and 4 at a time, freeze 2 of them, feed one to the family one night, using the already pre-made pie dough, just gently on the edge, remove the sides, unroll the whole thing, and then gently place it on your pan, which is mine's deciding it's gonna move. Gently place it on your pan so that you can then gently go down. Make sure you have enough covering the lip of the pan. If you need to, you can pinch a corner and then just pull it up. And we're gonna end up cutting some of this off. So it's not a big thing. If you make a little hole, you can take a corner of the pie dough and make a special area. So there's your pie dough. So if you want to pass me the pan with the meat.
Perfect.
And the spatula, please.
I'll get you a spatula. Let me hold on.
So then it's so simple that you literally just pour it in. And you can do it when it's warm. It's going to keep cooking while it's in the oven. So I'm trying to make sure you guys can see all this yumminess.
This looks awesome. It's
And
really
the smell is always the best part.
Absolutely.
So then you just gently put it into each of the corners. So we take, as per using the store-bought, you just take it. Thing that's important to do is make sure you don't collapse it. So I take the edge off and then I open up the sides. And then that way you're not bending or remodeling or breaking any of the dough. Same thing as before, unroll it out. People like to put egg wash. I don't put an egg wash or a water wash or nothing on top because there's so much moisture already inside. Then you take your fork, and some people like to pinch. My grandmother always did it with a fork.
Really good.
And our grandmas in Canada, if you're French Canadian, we call them ma mère. Ma mère being the grandmother. And so my ma mère always did it that way. She taught me how to do it this way. So it tends to be how we follow through is by those who teach us. Then you take the edge of your knife and just cut at the base of, that's why I like the tin foil pans, is it just gives you a good guide, and they actually cook faster. So then you just keep cutting. You never throw out extra dough because you can re-roll it and then add butter to it and cinnamon and sugar, and we call them pet de sard. Pet de sard, an English translation, is a nun's fart. And it's a delicious dish because anything with cinnamon, butter, and sugar is always good. So we're going to keep those. We already have our little section area open. Then what you need to do to give it a couple of places to breathe is poke a couple of dots. And then we're going to go to the oven. So now that everything's put together, we're going to put it in the oven. I suggest you put it on a cookie sheet because sometimes it'll gurgle a little bit of gravy will come out. So then we take it, put it in at 350 to 375 depending on your oven, and leave it for 40 to 50 minutes.
Perfect.
So now it's time to start with the poutine.
Awesome. That's what I was looking forward to. All right, so now I'm ready for these fries. So what do we have?
Poutine is just as easy a creation as the last la tourtière we made. So I prefer russet potatoes. If you're in Canada, nothing beats a Prince Edward Island potato. Everybody will tell you that. Idaho makes good taters too. So these are, I believe, russets from Idaho. I brought my favorite French fry maker that Scott is now addicted to.
I love this.
So Scott's going to get to cut some potatoes for you. These are available online. There's all kinds of different brands for them. The oil we're using is, I mix Crisco with lard. So I hate to break all your hearts. I don't care. It's the best French fry out there. And so we use that. We also are going to be using good Wisconsin cheese curds and brown gravy that is a little bit more diluted than you would have a normal gravy. So I'll show you guys a quick fix on that one. And then I sprinkle either chives or little green onions on top. It's very simple.
And we have a little vinegar over here?
True French Canadians will not only do salt, but we add vinegar to the gravy for that special little cheese and gravy curdle effect. And we have the oil getting ready there now, so we'll have you cut some fries.
Oh, perfect. And this is awesome.
Very simple, very fast.
Look at that. So, let's take it over to the oil.
So what we do is you take the potatoes, you put them out on paper towel to basically get excess water off. It stops the fat from basically flying up into your face. So I will be stepping back as to not get second-degree burns.
Just be careful there.
I worked in chip stands as a kid, a little place called Sturgeon Falls, Ontario. Started working at 13 years of age at a chip stand. Then there's also the gravy that we're working on. Basically, just do the mixture. This we let sit for a little bit earlier. I added a little bit more water to it. And basically, it's just you let it warm it up. I pre-do it and then warm it up. Get all the little bubbles out if you whisk it.
So this
And
is
just
going to
let
be
that
about
sit.
5 minutes?
It's going to take about 5 minutes. Then we're going to take them out. And then we're going to put them back in once they've been had a chance to cool down a little bit.
Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and make that happen, and then we're going to take it back over to the
Yep, and then we're going to start assembling.
Sounds great. Wow, these fries look fabulous.
So by double cooking the fries and putting them in the lard and the Crisco, you get a really crispy fry and some really nice color to them.
That's great. Isn't that like wonderful? All right, so
And then now we're going to assemble this baby. But before we do, I just want to show you. I usually put them in like a little ramekin or in one of these little pots. And this is what it's going to look like when it's done. But we're going to show you as we assemble it. Let's get the tourtière out of the oven.
the Tourtière?
Tourtière.
Tourtière. Okay, I can barely say my own name.
That's why a lot of us who speak French understand Spanish or speak it, because we all roll our R's.
All right. Wow. Wow. This has been going about 40 minutes. This looks fabulous. That's awesome.
So that's our pie. You can take the pie pan out.
Okay.
Get this out of the way.
Ow, ow, ow. It's hot.
I've been working with hot food my whole life. It takes a lot to burn these fingers.
All right.
And then you just take a nice little slice. And you cut through. Won't make it too big. We don't want you to
No,
pass away all of a
more.
sudden. There's always room for seconds.
Wow.
So this is what you see.
That looks
You can see the
great.
steamy meat. It's a preference. Some of us eat it with ketchup. I'm old-fashioned. I really do like the ketchup. But you can also eat it with the gravy or make a mushroom-type gravy with it. So we're going to get one ready with a little bit of gravy on the end.
Wow.
And then we're going to turn around and grab the gravy over here,
Okay.
which we'll also be using for the poutine. So we'll put a little bit there, and then she can try with ketchup, our audience member.
Awesome.
And now we're going to get the rest of the poutine put together. The poutine, we decided we're going to do a cute little ramekin for it. I'm going to move the pie over here for now. And then, so basically, I'm old-fashioned. I use my hands, but I don't want to do that to anybody. So we're just going to grab some of these crispy fries. And then you put a layer of cheese curds.
Oh, wow.
This really is not a big enough bowl, but we're going to make it work. Because, you know, you never want to just eat a little bit. This is the type of comfort food we love to eat in the middle of winter. Actually, it's 27. If there were 27 hours in a day, we'd do it in 27 hours or 365. It's just a really popular meal. And add a little bit more cheese curds. And then I also like to add a little bit of green onion, just the green part. And then what that does is just gives it another level of flavor. So
Wow.
add that to it.
I didn't think fries
And
could look
then
that good.
we bring over our gravy. And the gravy can be as thick as you like. Midwesterners and a lot of the East Coast people, we like a little bit of a thicker gravy. In the West Coast, I find they like a little bit of a thinner gravy. So it becomes a preference as to what you want to do. So now we're going to be ready for taste testing.
All right. Well, we're going to finish up the plating these and get our audience to taste it.
Well, I'm cheating. I'm having my favorite ketchup.
That looks good.
With the poutine, I added my vinegar, so we're good to go.
All right. Well, I'm going to hand this off to one of our tasters. Try that out. And I'm going to try my piece. Wow. Wow.
Wow. Fantastic.
It's a good,
really
quick,
good.
easy meal.
This is good. I can see why they liked it in Canada. And cold nights, this would be good. All right, well, thank you for being on the show.
You're welcome.
It was awesome. I had a great time. Please hit like on this video and subscribe and take the time to buy our Athletes of the Week trading card.